Hello everyone, this is Dr. Kalpana and you're watching my YouTube channel Pharmacy Lessons Made Easy. In this video, we shall be talking about the freeze dryer.
So far we have discussed about the basic terms and the mechanisms behind drying and equilibrium moisture content, followed by the drying rate curve and the instruments, especially the tray dryer, drum dryer, spray dryer, fluidized bed dryer and vacuum dryer. In this video we shall talk about the freeze dryer. This is the last topic in this particular chapter. So freeze dryer, actually here the sublimation of frozen material is done and the system is made solvent loving. So for removing or for doing the drying, the system is actually made the solvent loving. That's why the other name of this dryer is lyophilizer, or the process is called lyophilization. So the basic principle is the water is removed from the frozen state by the process of sublimation, where directly the water, that is a liquid state in the form of solid ice, will get converted into the vapor without getting converted into the intermediate liquid state. That process is actually called sublimation. So here the freeze drying is achieved by subjecting the material which is to be dried at such a temperature and pressure that it falls below the triple point. Under those conditions, even if we subject that material to room temperature, that particular heat difference will be utilized as latent heat, and the solvent which is in the freezed state, for example in case of water, it is in the ice form, that will sublime directly into its vapor state. So that water vapors or the solvent vapors will be removed from the system by condensation of that solvent, followed by the drying of the material which was actually placed. You can look upon the diagram to see the different parts of it. As you can see, there is a drying chamber where the trays are actually loaded, keeping the material which is to be dried inside. There is a provision of heat supply, which can be a radiation source or it can be a heating coil. Also, there is vapor condensing system to condense the vapors that are actually being generated once we are subjecting the material below the triple point. There is the provision of connecting vacuum pump also. The chamber for the vacuum drying is generally designed for batch process. It is not a continuous process as shown in the diagram. You have to keep the material on the shelf, and the distance between the subliming surface and condenser should be less than the mean path of the molecules for better rate of drying. The temperature of the condenser should be much lower than the evaporated surface of the frozen substance. To maintain this condition, the condenser surface is repeatedly cleaned. Moreover, if we look upon the working step by step, there are 5 different steps which are being followed once we want to dry the material inside the freeze dryer. The preparation and pre-treatment involve pre-concentration under the normal vacuum tray drying. This will actually reduce the drying time by 8 to 10 times. This is followed by the pre-freezing, where the container like vial, ampule or bottle is actually frozen in cold temperature, that is below minus 50 degrees Celsius, and the normal cooling rate is about 1 to 3 Kelvin per minute, so that the large ice crystal is formed on sublimation of ice. This is actually, if we apply this pre-freezing step, this will make the end product very porous, which will be helpful for free flow of the material. The third step is the primary drying, where we have to subject the material to a temperature below the triple point of water in case the solvent is water. Generally 4.58 millimeter of mercury and 0.0098 degrees Celsius is the triple point of water. So we have to keep the conditions below this. So once the solution of the solid is to be dried, the depression of freezing point of water take place. So the pressure and temperature at which the frozen solid vaporize is referred to as eutectic point. Keep in mind there is no such step of conversion of this solid to liquid state. Directly it will get converted into the vapor state. Vacuum is applied and the temperature is linearly increased up to about 30 degrees Celsius in a span of 2 hours, say. So this heat will actually provide the latent heat to the material, that is the solvent, and actually the freezed solvent will now directly convert into the vapor state. This is how the primary drying will take place. As the drying proceed, what will happen? The thickness of this frozen layer will continuously try to decrease. And this stage, approximately 98 to 99% water is removed. We are talking about the primary drying. The next step, that is step number 4, which is called secondary drying. It is actually done to remove the 1% or 2% of the remaining moisture. Now in this stage we have to raise the temperature of the solid up to 60 degrees Celsius, but vacuum is lowered so that better drying can take place. Although the rate will be very slow and it may take 10 to 20 hours to complete the secondary drying. This will be followed by the packaging step, where after the vacuum is replaced by the inert gas, the container, that may be bottle or vial or ampule, that will be not ampule, the bottle or the vial can be closed. If we talk about the uses of this particular technique, it offers the production of many dosage forms, especially the biological products like blood plasma product, the cultures like bacterial and viral cultures. Not only this, we can process the human tissue and other thermolabile products like antibiotics, the extracts from the plant, the steroids, vitamins, enzymes, poultry products, coffee, tea, and citrus fruit juices that can also be tried. That means it has huge applications. If we talk about the merits that are being offered by the freeze dryer, it is quite suitable for drying the thermolabile materials. As the time of contact is high, that will be considered as a demerit, but the product that you're getting will be quite stable and the less loss of volatile component will take place. So you can maintain the chemical integrity of the material which is actually being placed inside, which otherwise could not be possible by direct heating method. The sterile environment can also be maintained as it is a completely closed unit. If we talk about the major demerits, that involves the very high cost of equipment. You have the vacuum chamber also, right? So not only this, the time consumption is actually high. You may take up to 48 hours to completely dry the sample. So large surface area will make it more prone for oxidation, material that you are being subjecting to. And it is quite difficult to handle the non-aqueous solvents also, because that may ultimately enter inside the vacuum chamber. Okay, so these are the few references which can be referred for this particular topic. Thank you.